outside walking around.
Yeah.
Here he is.
A stranger. Never seen him before. He looks kind of shady.
He acted like he was.
Did you have a good time with
Oh
your
my gosh, I
grandkids?
was in heaven. Like 10 days of just amazing
Oh.
teenage stuff. They talk to me, and you know, I develop my introverted self when they come because they talk. So we get
Well,
my
that's
grandchildren with us.
That's a good sign that they talk to you.
They do.
Must mean you're doing something well.
I am. I'm not. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm like, okay, I love this. You know, it's great. So thank you for remembering.
Yeah,
So it's nice to be back. But I had a lovely, lovely time, and I hear they did as well. So
Oh, great.
it's all good. Yeah.
Has anybody heard about Mike? Any news on Mike?
No, but Bennett's not feeling well today. His knee's really hurting him.
Oh, poor guy.
He was hoping to get to the doctor to get some shots
Yeah.
on his knee today.
Last
Give
I
him our
heard,
love.
last I heard that Mike was doing okay, that they had figured out what they needed to do.
What was
Yeah,
causing the
with
issue?
his pacemaker, and it was out of whack after they waited for 2 days before they sent him home, and then it went out of whack. But they think they figured it out now.
Okay, that's good. All right. Well, everybody take good care.
Yeah.
And also, yay, for everybody that walked through the door and I didn't get to applaud that you were here. Yay! So why don't we start to kind of find our sitting bones on the seat comfortably, and find your feet on the floor in front of you, and if you want to grab a pillow so that you have that for later, I can bring you one if you don't have one. And why don't you start to rub your hands together, bring a little bit of warmth, drop your shoulders down, find a little bit of length out of the crown of the head. And just remember that this is all a buffet experience, which you can take or leave. Gail told us a great story about how she was driving and her back was starting to ache. And so she did some cat-cows using her steering wheel. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, practical application. I love it. And so when your hands feel nice and warm, maybe just rest them on your heart for a second. And you can close your eyes or just kind of send your gaze down past your nose and feel your own heartbeat for a moment. And you might just start to notice your breath just a little bit. You don't have to do anything special, but you can just notice where you feel it. You can start to notice if you have any aches or pains that you want to lovingly take care of today. Maybe we won't solve them completely, but we'll find a little bit of relief, a little extra breathing, a little more softening, a little more strength. And then I'm going to invite you for a second just to envision what we did at Shavasana last time, where we're sort of envisioning a heart that expands on the inhale. If you can just sort of see a little heart, and you can even move your own hands out as you breathe in, and then exhale and sort of draw the energy back to your own heart. Or you can keep your hands still. That's great, either way. So we're going to breathe in. Exhale, just follow your own breath, but as you continue to breathe, you might see if you can expand your heart and expand your breath just a little bit more every time you take one. And as you do that, you might see if you can listen to the sound of the breath. If that makes you want to take any particular stretch or any particular other movement, just go ahead and do it. And let's take one more, and let's sort of imagine that that heart is expanding the whole size of the room. And then draw all of that energy right back into your heart. And then let's sync up the movement with the breath by taking your left arm up as you inhale. And exhale, just let it come back and relax on your lap. And then let's inhale the right arm up. Exhale down to your lap. And this time, let's do it again with the left arm. Breathe in. And, feel some energy stretching out of the fingertips, stretch to the side of the rib cage, and then bring it back down. So you can start to expand through the stretch a little bit. Exhale. And just go in your own time. If you find that you want to take it over to the side, you can feel free to do that. So you're just like sort of finding your own movement. You don't have to do exactly what I do. You're giving yourself permission to find what feels good. And then let's try this. Let's inhale the left arm up and then draw really gently. So we're not going to put any pressure on it, but kind of draw that left hand to your ear and get a little stretch through the right side of the neck, and you can bring your right hand down and sort of flex your palm so that you're kind of getting an extra stretch through the side. Let that shoulder drop down. Just a gentle stretch, nice inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, you can inhale that left arm back up. Maybe look up at your palm and then exhale, take it down. And just notice the difference between the sides. We're gonna take it to the other side. So inhale the right arm up this time. We're gonna just gently sort of rest the hand on the ear. And then you can take that left hand and make a flexed palm, just so that you find a good stretch for you in the left side of the neck. Drawing the shoulders down the back, lifting through the sternum a little bit. And when you're ready, you can inhale that arm up, kind of reach through it, and exhale, take it down. And this time, let's inhale the left arm up, and then take it across the body, and you can take the right arm and sort of grasp the wrist, and then you can look over your left shoulder. Drop the left shoulder down into its socket a little bit. And if you like, you can take your head in a little nod. Or maybe you shake your head no just a little bit, just kind of exploring what feels good to your neck. Make sure you breathe, that's the most important thing ever. Inhale and exhale. When you're ready, take your arm up, inhale, and you can let it come down to the other side. Inhale the right arm up this time. I have to really think about it, so I make sure I get the right side. Draw it across the body, and you can grasp that arm with the wrist, and then you can look over your opposite shoulder. Feel free to nod the head up and down. Draw that right shoulder down into socket. Get a good inhale and exhale. See if you can hear yourself breathing. And when you're ready, you can lift that right arm up on an inhale. Take a nice big graceful motion out and out. And then let's go back to the left arm. We're going to lift it up one more time. And we're going to exhale it actually behind the back this time. So across the lower back. So just find a version of this that feels good to you. You can rest it behind your hip if you want, or next to your hip. I'm going to draw it across my lower back, and then we're going to take the opposite arm and we'll take it over the side. See if you get a little bit deeper version of this stretch. But of course, find what feels good to you. A big inhale, big exhale, take it back to center. Hello, yay, so glad you're here. And then let's take it, well, I just noticed, I felt pretty big difference after that one. So let's take the right arm this time. Exhale, we're going to take it across the lower back. And just find a version of this that feels good to you, where you can drop that right shoulder down into socket. And then we'll inhale the other arm up, left arm up and over, kind of spiraling the heart up a little bit if you can. Big breath in, big breath out. You guys look great. Whatever you're doing, it's great as long as it feels good to you. Inhale it back up, and exhale everything back to center. And just take a second to rest for a moment. Let your shoulders continue to drop down the back and lift the crown of the head toward the ceiling a little bit. Maybe take one big breath in and out where you envision the heart expanding really big and then drawing the energy back to your heart center. When you're ready, you can take both arms out to the side. On an inhale, exhale, give yourself a gigantic hug. And take your nose in some circles. Just really gentle, slow circles. If it feels weird to hug yourself while you do this, if that hurts, then of course just let it go. And do the circles without that. Getting a good stretch between the shoulder blades. And then just make a note of which way you're going. Rest your nose in the center. We're going to inhale the arms open. Exhale, take the other arm on top. And if you don't remember and you do it again, no problem. And we're going to take our nose in the opposite direction. And if you weren't sure and you want to just go both ways, right now feel free to do that. Most important is that you breathe. And the next most important thing is that you just lovingly attend to the integrity of your spine. Your alignment. Wonderful. And then just let your hands kind of like relax down like this, because we're going to take an inhale and sort of, don't really take your shirt off, guys. But sort of lift up as though you're going to. And then exhale. And let's take it to the, let's do that one more time. Here we go. And then if you can remember which hand was in front, take the other hand in front so we can even it out. Here we go. Really getting a good opening through the shoulders. And let's do that same side again so we even it out. Big inhale, listen to the sound of your breathing. Feel a little energy coming out of your fingertips. And then maybe just take it in the opposite direction. Breathing in some energy into the body. And let's just do one more. If you remember, take the other arm in front this time. Great. And let's take a few wrist rotations. Like you're drawing the fingertips in and away from your body. If it feels better, you can experiment with a little fist. You can see if that changes the feeling in your wrists a little bit. Nice and slow. And whenever you're ready, you can sort of stir in the opposite direction on your inhale. Maybe have a little half smile on your face. It's good that we're all practicing yoga on this hot day. We could be doing many other things that would not be so good, maybe. And then let's take our hands into those little fists and draw everything in. See if you can just kind of draw yourself into a little ball in your seat. Big inhale. Exhale, take it to a lion's breath and open your starfish palms up. There you go, let's do it again. Here we go. So we're going to inhale, draw everything into a little ball. Exhale, lion's breath. Got one more in you? Here we go. Feel some energy shooting out of the fingertips, shooting out of the crown of the head. Don't be afraid. If I can do it on camera, we can all do it, right? Let's exhale and let everything relax for a second. Maybe take a moment to envision that heart expanding as you inhale. And then becoming a small, concentrated heart of energy that you put right back into your own heart center. And let's take it, let's inhale the arms up one more time. And exhale, you got two choices. You can put your hands behind your head, and if this at any point gets too much, because this is kind of a lot, feel free to also just bring them down to the shoulders. So everybody experiment with either one of those and see what feels good to you. Whatever you choose, we're going to take the left elbow up as we come to the right side on an inhale. And exhale, come back to center. And then let's go the opposite direction. Take that elbow up toward the ceiling. A little stretch through the side body. Exhale back to center. If you can, do it again. You can kind of go in the pace of your own breath. Great for the obliques, the sides of the rib cage. And then if you got enough energy, see if you can take so you're looking at your left, looking over your left side. Back to center. Take it to the other side. I mean, really just do whatever you feel like doing here. But as you turn and twist through this spinal twist, see if you can feel grounded in your feet. If you can feel length at the front of the head. Now let's go one more each side. And then let's dedicate this one to Gail. Everybody lift through your sternum. Exhale, come into a little rounded spine, sort of a mini cat-cow. And inhale back to lifting that sternum, sort of pressing your hands into or head into your own hands. And then exhale it, relax. And you might feel like you want a shoulder roll. That's what I wanted to do. All right, and let's take our feet nice and wide for our cat-cow with using the pew. So I'm going to move my little makeshift pew in front of me here. So find a comfortable position as you widen your feet. You might find that you need to move your sitting bones closer to the edge. Find a nice comfortable relationship with the pew in front of you. And you can start to sort of round through the spine. And then as you exhale, you can draw the sternum forward. You can send your nose gently up toward the ceiling, lengthening through the spine. So we're not compressing the spine. When we come into that sort of mermaid stance, we're actually lengthening it. See if you can hear the sound of your breathing. See if you can feel nice and connected with your feet. Rest anytime in your child's pose if you like. And if you're okay to take it one more time in each direction, you can do that. And then, let's see if we can use that feeling of the sternum being the sort of thing that grounds and comes forward. See if you can feel as though the sternum is coming out mermaid style, but you're also taking yourself in a little circle. So we're drawing the rib cage. Yeah, you can put your hands wherever you want. Put them on your thighs, or you can use your pew. And this is fully just your own body's experience. But you're going to sort of see if you can make circles with the rib cage specifically. So drawing that forward and back, along with the rounded feeling in the spine as you take the sternum back, and then lift the sternum as you come forward. Okay, I yacked long enough about that. When you're ready, you can take a good breath in and go the opposite direction. So you might feel this in the hips. Hopefully it feels nice in your spine. Anything that hurts, of course, you want to make the movement smaller or stop altogether. And you can let this last circle that you do be a little smaller if you like. Kind of come back to a nice lengthened up spine. And let's take it to a child's pose, but when you come into your child's pose, I'm gonna invite you to walk it over, to use the pew in front of you. So if you wanna sort of get to a spot where you could walk your hands over, feel free to re-situate there. But first, just enjoy a small hip stretch as you come onto your forearms for a little rest. Listen to the sound of your breathing. Feel that good stretch in the hips. And if you'd like to get a further stretch in the hips and the sides of the body, you can start to take your hands on the pew in front of you and you can walk yourself over to the left. So that you're keeping your hands on the pew to find a stretch that feels good to you, and it'll look a little different for everybody. So take time to find what feels good. You can always come back to the center. When you're ready, you can walk your hands back to the center and take it over to the right side. Finding a good stretch. And when you're ready, on an inhale, you can walk your hands back and just rest again in your child's pose for a moment. If you're at home, if anybody is watching this at home ever, the other way you can do this is just to relax your forearms on your thighs and just rest and breathe. Little mini seated child's pose. And whenever you're ready to come out of this today, see how it feels to start at the tailbone and sort of roll up through the spine back to a seated position. So kind of rolling yourself up. Yep, and that might make you want to take a little shoulder stretch. Take a second to keep your feet wide because we're going to experiment with taking the foot out, extending the foot out, but to the side. Sandy, I love that you're staying in your child's pose. I applaud it. Anytime you want to do it, you have my 1,000 high fives. So let's start with our left leg whenever you're ready. And just see if you've got room to kind of stretch it out. And then experiment with whether it feels good to be on your heel with your toes flexed up towards your face, or if it feels better to have your knee slightly bent and have your foot all the way down. Whatever feels best to you. You're going to kind of feel that you're getting a little bit of a hip stretch hopefully already, right? And if everybody's got a position that feels okay, then we're going to take the right arm, inhale it up, and take it over that extended leg. And for this, I'd love you to see if you can ground through the right hip. If you can spiral your heart up a little bit, and get a good inhale. And on your next inhale, take that lifted arm back up and down. Everybody feel okay with that one? Okay, so if that felt okay, let's try it on the other side. So you can draw that left leg back in and take the right leg out and find an extension that feels good to you. You can draw the toes in towards your face, or you can keep your legs slightly bent and just fully flat on the ground. So whatever feels good to you. Because this is really for your hips. Okay, and when you're ready, you can extend the left arm up this time and lengthen that up and over, grounding through the left hip this time, feeling that sitting bone really connected to the seat. You can even reach this right arm toward your left hip. Big inhale, big exhale. It's a big stretch, so give it some breath. And then on your next breath, bring the arm back up. And exhale back down. And then let's draw that leg back in and walk the feet into hip width apart. So we're really lining up. So think for a second about the head being over the heart, or ears being over shoulders, and that being over the hips, and then the hips extending straight out to the knees, straight over the ankles. So just take a second to find some integrity for your own seat. And then when you're ready, you can start to massage the legs a little bit, get a little bit of blood flow. You might take some circles around the knees, which really love some attention. You can stay with the top if it feels bad to bend over, but if it feels okay, you feel safe to come over, you can come to the bottom of the leg and massage through the shins and the calves. You can even massage behind the knees. And you can also tap to bring a little bit of energy all the way up and down the leg, or whatever parts of your leg you can comfortably reach. And then when you're ready, maybe shake out your hands too while you're at it. It's a lot of work. And then let's take the left leg out in front, kind of slide that out and find a hamstring stretch that you've got space for. So hopefully everybody's got room to extend their leg out, and see what happens if you kind of press into the heel and draw the toes up towards your face. See what also happens if you engage the upper thigh so that you're not dumping into your knee, back with your knee. And see if you can also maintain your nice alignment from hip to knee to ankle. You can stay right there and just get a stretch to the back of the leg. If you want a little more stretch, it feels good to come into a child's pose right here. Really get a good breath in and out, because that's the most important. The stretch is secondary. to the breathing. And the stretch allows for better breathing, and the breathing allows for a better stretch. It's all a nice cycle. And when you're ready to come out of that, press into that right leg as you roll up through the spine. Try that nice roll up from the tailbone up. See if that feels good. You can stay there as long as you like, or you can come back to that at any time. But let's draw that leg back in, and we'll take the right leg out in front. So yeah, find a good, feel free to move around so you find a good amount of space for yourself. See how it feels to press the heel in, draw the toes up toward the face. You might, before you come into child's pose, you might see how it feels to really lengthen up through the spine, lift through the sternum. I can already feel a pretty good stretch. But if you want more, you can come into your little child's pose here. Getting a better stretch because of your good breath, and getting a better breath because of your good stretch. Letting the shoulders be soft, letting the jaw be soft, and the tongue on the inside of the mouth. And feel free to stay there as long as you want, and when you're ready to come out of it, press into the left leg. Feel the tailbone. We're going to roll up, vertebra by vertebra, into that nice lengthened spine, and then you can draw your foot back in. And please feel free to come back to it at any time. Let's do a little leg lifts. So let's ground through the right leg first, and draw the needle into the spine, lift into the sternum. We're going to lift that left leg up. If you want, you can hold your leg under the thigh, a little bit here. Just hold it for a few moments as you breathe, and rotate through your ankle one way and the other. This is a thing I think we can all do in church and no one will notice. Dawn and Rachel can watch this Sunday and see who's doing yoga in your pew, and you can't tell, right? And you can point and flex a little bit. You're getting a great ab engagement here. Big inhale, exhale, put it down. And now let's ground through that leg, through the left leg, and we'll lift up the right one as we lengthen and draw the navel into the spine. And then same thing, you can hold your leg underneath the thigh and rotate the ankle one way and the other. Get a good breath that you can hear. Feel a little smile on your face as you lengthen up toward the ceiling, the crown of the head. Point and flex your foot. And be really mindful so you're kind of maintaining that integrity of hip, knee, ankle, and you're like, okay, enough, all right, let's put it down. Here we go. And just rest for a second. Let's do some leg lifts in a moment. But you can always do that again, what we just did, or you can do another hamstring stretch where you take the foot out in front, so you can opt out of anything. You can also take a nap in child's pose if you want to at any time. So let's ground through the right leg, lift through the left leg, and just pulse a few times there, drawing the navel into the spine. Just a real small pulse, doesn't have to be a big motion, because you want to avoid anything that makes you do anything with your upper body, right? You just want to kind of like maintain your queen or king-like stature on top. Just kind of pulse and smile at me as the most fun you ever had in your whole life, and you don't mind doing it at all. It's great, in fact. And then whenever you're ready, get a good inhale, exhale, put it down. Always good work. Let's ground through the left leg, lift the right leg, and just little small pulses. Make sure you keep breathing. Relax the shoulders. Relax the jaw, anything that might be tensing to help. That's not needed. Little small smile. Gigantic inhale, exhale. And now the biggest breath you've taken all day, and set it down. And maybe give yourself a little massage for a moment, or tap through the upper part of the leg. Let's do some, what I'm going to call tiptoe press. So on the inhale, we're rolling up to the tiptoes, both legs. Exhaling, rolling all the way through the foot until you're pressing actively into your heels. When you press actively into your heels, what happens if you also lengthen through the sternum and the spine, right? So let's inhale, draw your feet up to your toes. Exhale, press all the way down to the heels. And just do that a few times in your own time. See if you can coordinate the movement with the breath and maintain some nice integrity. From the hip to the knee, ankle to the toes. This is another one I think you can do while Dawn is preaching. You won't know.
Except for Dawn.
I mean,
No.
can you do it and still listen? I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear every word you say. Guaranteed.
But I can't do it and say anything.
Maybe you can do it there. Oh, and sing. There you go.
You're not allowed.
Absolutely. All right, and let's prepare. So you know that you can choose your own adventure. You can do tiptoe presses. You can do a hamstring stretch out in front of you. You can do leg lifts. You can do ankle rotations to hold your leg. But if you like, you can go into a little pigeon pose if that feels okay to your hips and everything. So let's press through the right leg if you want to do pigeon pose. And let's lift up the left leg. You can hold it under the thigh and hug it in, or if it feels okay, you can hug around your shin. Sort of hug that into the chest for a moment, and then cradle your foot and draw it over to the right leg. And see what happens today if you really think about sort of keeping the foot right and flexed, the one that's resting on your leg. So we're sort of activating through the whole leg. See how it feels to lengthen up through the crown of the head. Find a little brightness in the sternum, a little half smile. If this feels okay to you and you want a little bit more, you can always come into your child's pose. But it may also feel good to just stay here with the pigeon. If this feels okay, you can even take a little small side twist to each side. Why not? You just kind of experiment while you're here and find what feels good to you. Whatever you do, get a really good breath. You're doing it exactly right. And when you're ready, we'll pick up that foot lovingly and set it down. And feel the difference between the sides. Feel free to opt out, of course. When we're ready, we're going to press into the left leg and lift up the right leg, and you can hug it into the chest in whatever way feels good, under the thigh or around the shin. You can rotate. I just felt like rotating. Maybe that feels good. Maybe you just want to stay here, and this is a great stretch. Or you can lovingly place that foot onto the left leg, flexing a little bit through the right foot, lengthening up out of the crown of the head. You might see if you can make sure your hip and your knee and your, perfect, he knew I was fussing at him. And then if you want, you can come into a child's pose here, or you can just stay there. Now I noticed when I came into a child's pose that my knee sort of splayed out to the side, so you might want to just make sure whatever you pick, that you have good integrity of your alignment. And if that doesn't make sense to you and you're just having your own stretch, then you're doing it perfectly, right? Get a good breath in. Oh, don't forget, if you want, you can do the wee spinal twist, just a wee one, if you like, just a little quick adjustment. And then when you're ready, lovingly pick up that foot on an inhale and set it down on an exhale. And just rest for a moment. You want to come into a quick child's pose? Yeah, that's good stuff. Everybody take a good breath in that you can hear. And an exhale that you can hear. Let it go. Feel free to come back here anytime or stay as long as you like. When you're ready to come to a regular seat, start at the tailbone And see what happens if you roll up through the spine on your inhale. And that might just force you to take a little shoulder roll, which never hurt anybody. And then we're going to come to our standing mountain pose. And I think this is another one we can all practice mindfully in church, because probably standing and sitting safely, like transitions from one thing to the next, are probably how we mostly get hurt and how we want to be our most mindful. So press actively through your feet before you move. Draw the navel into the spine. Find some length out of the crown of the head. Feel free to put your hands on the pew in front of you for support, and press into your feet as you come to a standing mountain pose. You did it like an expert. Get yourself all comfy, and when you're ready, you can take some hip circles. And I wondered today for our hip circles how it would feel to imagine lovingly that somebody is just kind of holding your head a little bit still, right? They're kind of like not grabbing your head, but just holding it still. And what would happen if you kept the head kind of still as you made your hip circles? They can be as small as you like. You can hold onto the pew. You can put your hands on your hips so that you can feel the movement of the hip. And when you're ready, change direction. Somebody's still gently holding onto your head for you, only so that you can find the movement in your hip. Seeing if you can keep the feet nice and rounded and beautifully aligned. Second most important thing you could do. And when you're ready, come back to your standing mountain pose. You can put your hands on your hips and try a superhero pose for a moment where you're really lifting through the sternum, lengthening out the crown of the head, sending maybe some energy out the elbows, right? Big inhale, exhale, maybe let that go. And then if it's okay, if your balance is okay, let's maybe take it into a little star pose. So we're gonna extend the hands up, feeling energy shooting out of the fingertips, shooting out of the crown of the head, shoulders relaxing down the back. Big inhale here, and then exhale, let everything soften down. Wonderful. You guys up for a little tree pose? Just a wee one? Okay. So remember, you've got an option to just lift one leg. So take a second to draw your feet hip width apart. Let's really ground through the right leg first. And we're gonna sort of just puppeteer that left leg up. And just start there and see how that feels. See if you can maintain your hip points shining forward rather than dropping, right? So we're gonna just start there. Feel free to hold on. If this feels good, you can just stay here. You can also turn that left knee out and rest the foot up against the standing knee. Not the knee, opposite of that. You can rest it against the standing shin. If it also feels good, you can take it to the thigh, whatever feels good to you. The only place you don't want to put the foot is against the knee, like I just said. Okay, I want to make sure everybody got that. Hip points shining forward. You can experiment with how it feels to maybe take one arm up. I mean, I don't know, a one-armed tree while the other one holds on. You're really grounding and pressing actively through the foot. You can press actively the standing foot into the bent leg. Does that make sense? You're creating a little opposition. Yeah, and you can take it to the other side. If you're feeling really brave, you can take both arms up, but don't take any wacky risks. Big breath in, and then exhale, gently put that foot back down. You might take another hip circle if that feels good, to kind of loosen that up. You might take one of those spinal waves. I mean, I like it. All right, and then let's ground through the left leg this time. And we're gonna keep the hip points shining forward, sternum is lifted, lengthening out the crown of the head, and we'll lift up that right leg. And you can just stay here. This is a tree pose. This is still a tree pose. If you want, you can turn that right knee out, and you can rest your foot up against the standing leg, anywhere other than the knee. So hip point stays shining forward. You can experiment with taking an arm up. You can take both arms to prayer pose, like my mom's doing, which is great. You can take both arms up if it feels doable to you. I recommend if you want to try a balancing pose, you just find a point in front of you and focus on that. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing is perfect, so just take a good breath in, and then find some support and let that foot go back down. And maybe take one more. Hips circle. Are you guys okay to stand for one more pose? That I'm curious, everybody here has pretty good mobility, so I'd love to try this, see if it feels good on the pews specifically. So take your feet out wide. And let's maybe take that star pose again, because really star pose is wide feet, wide arms. You can stay here, or if it feels good, you can take yourself into a little forward fold. You can rest your forearms on the pew back, just like we do in child's pose, or you can take your palms down to the seat in front of you if you want a little deeper stretch. So find what feels good. You may feel a little stretch in the low back, and you can feel free to experiment here with some light movement back and forth to see what feels good in your own back and the back of your thighs. Get a good breath in wherever you are. And to come out of this pose, make sure you're really connected with your feet. Put your hands back carefully on the pew back in front of you. And let's see what happens if we roll up from the tailbone. Beautiful. Everybody okay with that? Remember, you can always opt out, right? I know, I just want to roll my shoulders. And then let's walk the feet back in nice and careful. And then we're going to come into our seats. So again, we're going to draw the navel into the spine, find that length, and we're going to aim the sitting bones back toward the chair. Bending the knees right over the feet. Should we do a little circle of joy? Yeah, dedicated to you, my friend. All right, so let's reorient our alignment, find a good comfy spot. Let's inhale, bring the hands to the heart. Exhale, interlace the fingers and take the hands out in front of you as you round through the spine. Inhale, palms come toward the ceiling as you smile. Exhale, come over to one side, either side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the other side, stretching through the rib cage. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release the arms. Feel a little energy shooting out of the crown of the head and the fingers as you bring your hands behind your tailbone to interlace. And get a little stretch, a nice extension to the spine as you gaze up toward the ceiling. Lift through the sternum. Big inhale. Exhale, so bring my hands back to the heart. Inhale here. Exhale, interlace as you take the palms out in front of you and round through the spine. Inhale, nice stretch through both sides of the rib cage. Exhale, down to one side. Drop your shoulders down a little bit so it feels good. Inhale. Exhale over to the side. Keep the heart lifted a little bit. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release. Feel some energy shooting out of the front of the head and the hands. Interlace the hands behind the tailbone. And a little mermaid lift of the sternum. Exhale, everything comes back to the heart. So now you can just do it in your own pace. Feel free to do it along with me, but I'll just be kind of quiet and see if you can coordinate the movement with the breath. Feel free to spend longer on anything that feels good. Here we go. Inhale. So invite you to close your eyes if you feel like you've got it and you want to just go inward. That's great too. to take any other stretch that feels good to you, or you can just rest with your hands at your heart, feeling your own heartbeat for a moment. Allowing your shoulders to relax down. Noticing the breath coming in and out. Where do you feel it? Maybe it's changed a little bit. Maybe whatever aches and pains are a little bit better, or just maybe a little different. And before we go into our Shavasana for today, let's just take the hands, rub them together a little bit more for some warmth, and then give yourself a little scalp massage. So you can use your fingernails if you have them, in circles. You can also do some tapping. You can brush your hair with your fingernails. Let's take a second to give some love to the scalp. You can take the massage to the ears, back of the neck. We're just seeing if we can find some of that nice relaxation so that we can take that down into the whole body in a moment. And any other movement you want to take before you come into your Shavasana, position of your choice. You can lie down on the floor. You can put a pillow behind your head. You can come into a little child's pose. You can use the pillow to support you there. You can always just put a pillow behind the lower back and scoot yourself back so that you're resting your back up against the seat. So just take a second to experiment, and do not suffer if you are in a position that's not comfy. Change it at any point. No one will fuss at you if you move. So just take a second to see if you can allow the relaxation that I hope you felt with your own scalp massage. If you can allow the awareness of that relaxation to travel down, maybe the forehead, between the eyes, maybe down into the jaw and the tongue, all the way down the back of the neck and the collarbones, and all the way down each shoulder into both elbows, all the way down to your wrists, and releasing any tension in your fingers that you might be holding. You might take a moment to just envision the expanding heart as you inhale, and the small, concentrated heart of energy coming right back to your heart center. And see if you can find that softening all the way down the spine, into the tailbone, and the hips, softening in the abdomen, relaxing down the tops of the legs, the backs of the legs, down into the knees, all the way down the bottoms of the legs, into the ankles, and out each toe, any tension you might be holding. And maybe you can envision the expanding heart when you inhale. And exhaling that small, concentrated heart of energy right back to your own heart. And as you breathe, with that image in mind, or just enjoy the expansion without the imagery, just enjoy your own expansive breath. See if with every inhale you can enjoy expansion, and every exhale you can enjoy softening. If you notice anything that still feels tight or twinging. Really send some awareness of the breath to that particular spot. See if you can allow it to soften just a little bit on the exhale. Just kind of using this time to breathe as though you are massaging your whole body or specific parts. Allowing them to let go a little more, feel a little bit more expansive, a little more spacious. Enjoy the cleansing feeling of the inhale, release of the exhale. And I suggest we take maybe 3 more inhales and exhales where you really think about and notice the inhale and exhale. You stay with your inhale and your exhale all the way from beginning to end. You can visualize the heart expansion. And then after you've had your 3 breaths, I invite you to just let go of breathing any particular way. And just enjoy this little moment of not having to do anything or be anywhere or optimize anything. Just allow the nutrients of your practice to settle in. And if you find the mind wandering and thinking about the next thing you have to do on your to-do list, you can just lovingly bring your attention back to some breathing and softening in the body. You can always come back to the expanding heart. Just allowing yourself to do nothing for a few moments. And you can continue to do nothing. That's perfect. And you can also receive a loving kindness blessing, which you first give to yourself. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. May I be safe. Be happy. Be healthy. Live with ease. And then we'll send that blessing to embrace the whole world. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with ease. May all beings be safe. Be happy. Be healthy. Live with ease. When you're ready, you might start to wiggle your toes inside your shoes. You can wiggle your fingers a little bit. You might take your head in one small circle in each direction. You might roll your shoulders a little bit and bat the eyelashes open. Get a good expansive inhale and exhale. Thank you so much for coming to practice. Namaste. One more practice next week. And I believe there will be donuts. I believe there will be donuts. And there will also be a list, I'm saying this so I have accountability, there will be a list of stretches you can do that no one can tell you're doing that. We'll call them stretches you could do on the bus, in the car maybe, and maybe while you are praying. If you can, if that helps you be more in your body and more present. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Amy.